The midterm elections coming up in the U.S. If it results in either the consensus, which is gridlock, or outside the consensus, a red repeat, would it be fair to say that markets are going to like the fact that that's going to give President Trump more momentum as well as potentially more leverage going into his meeting with Xi Jinping at the G20 in Argentina at the end of this month, and giving him more capacity or ability to strike a trade deal with China?
Yeah, look, I think the real question is, what would force Trump to back down from his current stance? Because as we see it right now, the US economy is growing at 3.5%, unemployment's down, to modern sort of year lows. We've got a very buoyant US economy. So when you look at that, you've got to say, right, what Trump has done, in the medium term, we may have negative influences, but in the near term, it's certainly been buoyant to the economy. And he's shown that he's not going to back down to China or to anyone else. So will the midterm elections force him to, change his play? And that's really the big question. Obviously, if the Republicans win through, then it won't force anything. He'll be getting a vote of confidence for his current stance. So for anything to happen, with the Chinese and the US trade policy negotiations, I think we need to see China take the first step, and maybe that's what we're seeing right now, because Trump has no reason to back down really from anything at the moment. If they do end up losing that sort of power in the Senate, the real question is, what does that force him to do in the lead up to the next election, and whether he can actually get anything through, and whether we just see more rhetoric out of Trump, because that's really what we're seeing. And you come back to the initial question about, the Trump versus Kudlow kind of, disagreement there. Trump's got a habit of sort of shooting off his mouth before really thinking through. So is that all we're seeing now? We're seeing sort of Trump just talk too early? We don't know. So I think this probably, if you go back a week and a half ago, it was quite clear that the US and China were a long way away from a negotiation. Now it's completely unclear. Now we've got lack of transparency in terms of whether they're talking, whether Republicans agree with each other, whether there's going to be a deal done. So I think now the uncertainty is more heightened than what it's been. So, a real big question mark for my mind. Hopefully we get a few answers with the midterms, but at the moment I think it's very opaque.
Still watching? Perfect. Click here to watch another great video from CNBC International. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.